Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode 100 of Dissonant Waves. We've got our usual players today. We've got myself,
Hello.
Dominic. We've got Ritz as well. We've got Trix. And
100 episodes, and I still interrupt your introduction with hellos.
That's tradition at this point, you know?
Yeah.
And who is that in the corner over there? In the distant, smoky corner, I see someone new.
Oh, hello, it's me, famed YouTuber, and known for my opinions on music. Mini-me / Peter / whatever you want to call me.
Yes.
Hello.
You said known for your opinions of music, so I think I'm going to call you Fantano for the rest of this episode.
Good old Peter
I'm
Minimme.
the internet's busiest music nerd, is what I call myself.
Yeah.
All right.
I saw you play guitar once. You have some music in you.
Yeah, there's music related to my life.
To be fair, I've played the guitar as well, just not good.
I didn't say it's
Same.
good. But...
I played guitar on your EP, Ritz.
Yeah, and I play guitar on my EP as well.
You know, no,
And I
haven't
haven't plugged in. I have not plugged in the MIDI guitar for this episode. We cannot do a live album.
We're all
apologize.
geniuses in our own right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Glass half
What
full.
what have we got to cover this week,
All
Dominic?
right, we got 4 albums because we have 4 people. 3 of them were chosen naturally. I want to do Max Payne 3's soundtrack by Health for a long time. I don't remember even when I decided it was going to be episode 100, but it's been on my docket forever.
It was like episode 40 you decided that, man.
Wow.
It was something crazy early like that.
Ritz, you chose Kirin J. Callinan's Bravado.
Yes, I did.
You did the Distillers Sing Death House, which we've covered Coral Thing before, so thank you for picking a repeat.
Very glad to. I've picked my favorite album when I was 15.
Excellent. And then
I thought that was the best of Crazy Frog though.
Not true. That too.
And then one of the albums was kind of forced upon this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ritz made me do 100 Gecs, 1000 Gecs.
Really, Ritz
Damn
picked 2
straight.
albums, but it's Trix's name on the docket.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
Trix, to be fair, you did try to pressure me into picking 100 Gecs a while ago.
I
So
did.
did I.
It's a good album.
Well, which one do we want to start off then? Do we want to start off with 1000 Gecs?
Ick.
Do we have any objections?
Ick.
No.
Do not say Gek 1,000 times, Dominic. We do not want a 4-hour episode again.
Just
Alright,
insert
let's
your
do it.
what the fuck is a Gecs track here.
Yeah. So, just for Pete's sake on here, and anyone who needs a refresher in this case, whoever
Pete's
you...
sake.
Yeah. For whoever's chosen the album, forced upon it or not, they usually have to give the introduction. So Trix, would you like to give this little introduction to 1000 Gecs? And please take as much time as possible.
Sure. I listened to this album first on a whim. I've heard of them, and then like earlier in 2021, I was just like, okay, I'm finally gonna listen to 100 Gecs. And after listening to it, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I listen to this sooner?
I just want to point out that I send my dad recommendations for stuff that comes out all the time, and he will come back to me with how shit it is. But I send him 100 Gecs, and he went, yeah, I actually like this.
Good.
I sent it to my father, and he's like, what the fuck is this? This is garbage.
You
Hmm.
know who likes 100 Gecs though is Phil Elverum, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that. That was in the Fantano video when he was interviewing
Yes.
Phil Elverum, and he just goes, "What have you been listening to?" Like, 100 Gecs. That's it. There was no like talking about anything else. That was the first thing in his mind.
Well,
Phil
it
Elverum
was
is
a larger
based.
conversation of like listening to music with his daughter and stuff, but yes. 100 Gecs did very much come up. But yes, so
Yeah.
this album's been kind of a cultural touchstone of like hyper pop, whatever that really is. A mishmash of genres, kind of sequencing from one to the next, kind of like a roulette wheel.
I described it to my father as like John Cage for the modern era.
Sure.
I would have described this. This is the Zoomers Trout Mask replica.
That's basically what
Yeah.
I was getting at with the John Cage.
Yeah.
It made me feel very old listening to it, honestly. Because, like, I'm sort of out of touch with the world. And I'd heard this album when it came out a few years ago, briefly. I'd heard tracks and I'd been like, okay,
Yeah, I
this
believe
is what
I
the
forced them
Zoomers
on
are
you,
listening
actually.
to. Sorry?
I think I forced them on you.
Yeah, I think you might have. And then I re-listened to it this week. The first time I went to go listen to it, I like to go for a morning walk, and I put in my AirPods, and I was like, you know what? Something relaxing. 1,000 Gecs. So I hit play on the album, and I'm like, oh god, this isn't it. I get like 2 songs in and turn it off, and I'm like, do I have to talk about this on the weekends?
Yeah.
And then I followed up the next day, sitting at my computer, and I hit play, and I'm like, oh, there's something to this. This is fun. And now I love it. Well, sort of. I love half of it, and sometimes I find it annoying. It sort of depends where I'm at.
That's the
pipeline to enjoying 100
Yeah.
Gecs.
Yeah.
that was my exact pipeline as well. When I first listened to it, I like couldn't listen to anything but Stupid Horse.
Well,
Yeah, I like
first-
Stupid Horse. I like
think I first
745
heard-
Sticky.
Mm.
But yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've
I
been
think I
ruined by
first heard this
everything.
on Twitter.
Let's keep it. Let's keep interrupting Tricks. This is the name of the game.
Someone else
Sorry.
interrupt.
I think I first ran into this on Twitter, and I think it was Money Machine I heard first, and I had a different reaction. I immediately had to go and listen to the whole album.
I mean, straight up, the opening lines to Money Machine are an instant classic. Hey there,
Yeah.
little piss baby. You think you're so fucking cool, huh? You think you're so fucking tough. You talk a lot of big game for someone with such a small truck. Oh, look at those arms. They look so fucking cute. They look like little cigarettes. I bet I could smoke you. I could roast you. Then you would text me and say that you love it, and then I'll fucking ghost you. I think I got most of that.
Yes,
You
it's-
did.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
good.
They have a shirt with the full fucking first verse on there, and it's sold out immediately.
Oh, god damn it.
I know. I was looking to buy. I was gonna pay for shipping for that.
Like I think I've just been like ruined by this podcast, or just like been attuned to like what music is now. And like when I actually listened to this for the first time, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Like I didn't love it, but it was like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I feel like for me it was when they reined it in a bit, I enjoyed it a lot more the first time around. Whereas when it went really like clip the audio and do some dubstep stuff, I was like, nah, too much. But I've grown to love those tracks more.
So I actually have a good theory as well for why I like this album, why everyone kind of eventually warms up to this album. And despite it sounding very new and going into this PC music, it's actually quite nostalgic. Like it has a lot of sounds that were, well, I mean, obviously we talked about the dubstep, which was big obviously in the early 10s and stuff, but there's a lot of sounds in there which are also like early noughties and stuff. But despite it being so nostalgic, it actually feels fresh enough, and it's kind of, you know, when you think of something and it was better in your mind than than it actually was, or like you remembered it better. 100 Gecs is actually remembering all that music better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would never
Yeah, that's
stop
correct.
you is just Kiss Me Through the Phone, but better.
Yeah, pretty much.
The other
Although we
Soulja
will
Boy
have
song
no
that's not
we will
that
have
bad.
no slander about Soldier Boy on this podcast.
Are you gonna get his console?
I think I might get 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Thinking about
Yeah.
selling all my
Oh,
other
yeah.
consoles to get
Yeah.
it.
Why
Yeah,
why
yeah,
would
you
I
got
have a
Nico,
Series
too.
X when I got the Soldier Boy, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta get the Soldier Boy console.
I need my games to run at a constant 5 frames per second.
Hey man, nice slideshow.
Yeah, look, I don't love this album, I will say, and I feel like I might love it next week, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that 100% tracks. I
Yeah.
get you 1,000%.
Trix has done that with a lot of my choices over the past 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he slandered Courtney Barnett and then chose it like a month later.
Yeah, Courtney Barnett grew hard on me.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
like a year later, but you know.
But it's,
Like a couple months afterwards, I was like, okay, this album kicks so much ass.
yeah. But I mean,
Things
back
take
in
time, take
back
time.
in 2019, when I did listen to this again, I was saying I only like Stupid Horse and stuff. But like now, this is just, it's one of those ones where I keep going like, do I actually start to think this will go into my 10 range? And no, it's pretty cemented as a 9 because I think there are still some kind of moments that are just a bit like I need help immediately and Gek have some moments on it which just kind of like go for such a short album go a little too fucking long, but at least with Gek, it has that random kind of emotional sounding outro to it, which I think is just kind of cool enough that I enjoy it. But I Need Help Immediately is just kind of like a random filler in an album that doesn't need filler.
That's the one that has like all
It
the random
feels like a-
sounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
it's just like all the video game fonts, and I appreciate how weird that is.
Yeah.
There's like one.
Granted,
like,
though, it goes straight into
64.
stupid horse. So
It's got to
Yeah.
prep you for that stupid horse.
What do you think
Stupid
of
horse,
800,
such a-
800 dB Cloud? I found that song to be annoying until it wasn't.
Yeah.
oh, that song's a fucking banger.
Okay.
Yeah,
Annoying until it wasn't could just be the summing up of all 100 Gecs.
True. Yeah.
I mean, I love the distorted bass kind of notes that just like hit. Like it's weird. There's obviously quite a lot of distortion in this album, but the distortion ends as the note ends as well. There's no kind of like hanging onto it, so it feels like a regular fucking note that's being played, but just I mean everything here feels like it's fucking pop that's been deep fried. There's I mean there's 1,000 different fucking explanations you can have into it. But
it's the audio equivalent of that meme that gets reposted 1,000 different times and just gets
Yeah.
grainier and grainier.
But I've talked to on this podcast one of my favorite elements in music, which is it's something that goes a bit unnoticed, is contrast. And 800 dB Cloud fucking has that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of soft moments that go straight into the hard ones, and it's fucking great. And granted, this song's mostly just about I'm going to assume it's smoking weed to get over someone.
Or a vape song. I was thinking 800 dB Cloud was like a vape thing, but either way.
I think that's
I've always read dB as decibel,
yeah.
so it's like a sound cloud.
You're ripping like a fat cloud. It's such a fat fucking cloud. It makes a fucking sound cloud.
I know, but there's also the line, I might hit the weed, I might hit the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, despite all the kind of meminess and stuff in there are some actual, like, well-crafted pop songs on here. Specifically, Ringtone, I think, is actually just a really good pop song.
Ringtone's fucking great.
Yeah, it's catchy as shit, and like I would put it as my ringtone if anyone actually called me, but we're not there yet. And Hand Crushed by a Mallet, despite that song just kind of, I think that's actually just about a fly that was buzzing around their studio. But that's actually a pretty emotional sounding track. I still think the Fallout Boy, Craig Owens, and Nicole Bodenganger kind of remix / cover of it is better, but I think the song itself leaves itself a lot to be improved on, or like I guess like take something else from it, kind of thing. I was just speaking of covers. I posted I posted a while ago. I think Dominic. I can't remember if I posted it again or Dominic posted it. It was the Beach Bunny doing the cover of Ringtone as well.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
I posted the Health and Gecs.
Yeah, you posted the Health. Yeah, I posted the Beach Bunny one. Yeah, which it just goes to show like the amount of artists that have looked at this album now and whether or not taken inspiration or actually just highlighted. I mean, Charlie XCX obviously had Dylan Brady do some production on her next album after this came out. There was the remix that they did of the Linkin Park song, which God, who was the member of Linkin Park? One of them went out and actually advertised and said this is a really crafty remix of it. Dylan Brady also worked with Rebecca Black on the Friday remix.
Injury Reserve remix 745 Sticky.
Yep. I mean, there's a whole remix album which we haven't covered, and maybe we'll cover it one day.
The Tree of Clues.
Yeah, but
100 Gecs will be the Zoomers' Beefheart.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a lot of people are taking a lot of inspiration or just notice to this album.
I gotta push back on the Beefheart comparison, as much as we like to dunk on it a little bit. Beefheart is still fairly inaccessible compared to what the 1,000 Gecs is going through right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's also more accessible Beefhearts, which is why I was comparing it just to Beefheart in general, not necessarily Trout Mask Replica. Like Safe as Milk is pretty accessible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is some accessible Beefheart out there, so I consider it a fair comparison.
I don't think Trout Mask or a lot of Beefheart really ever got called Best Album of the Year or anything like that.
No, but it was like looked at critically. Like that's more of what I'm getting at.
Like there's a whole list of like just the amount of awards and like notice that 1,000 Gecs got comparatively.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, one question I have for Pete here is after you had your walk and you had to shut this off, did that ruin? Sorry, I said that completely wrong. Ruin the walk completely for you, or did you still manage to do it?
So it certainly didn't help the walk.
Yeah.
So normally I don't listen to any music while going for a walk, but I had homework this week, so I was like, I need to put something on.
I don't know how the
Um,
fuck you go on walks without music. To be honest, I can't fucking I can't fucking walk without music playing.
Yeah, depends on the purpose of the walk.
You
And the
asked me to
purpose of
go
this
get
walk-
milk. If my phone's dead, sorry, we ain't having milk.
Yeah,
You
well, the
need to
purpose of
ask.
this walk was to clear my head, you know, and 1,000 Gecs doesn't necessarily clear my head as much as it scrambles it.
I keep meaning to
Fair
ask, did we
enough.
give you too much homework?
No, I quite enjoyed it. I need to educate myself, and it was a fun trip going back down memory lane for Sing Sing Death House and Bravado and Max Payne 3 even. 1,000 Gecs is the only thing that was really new to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun.
I think all 4 of these have like a weird, like they connect, they fit together.
I think so, in a
Like,
way.
we're Dissonant Waves, but these albums, as dissonant as they are, somehow come together in the end to make the perfect
Yeah.
episode 100.
Yeah, I think this is actually like one of the best choices that we've done, even if it might not be the best music that we've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had so much time to just be like, yeah, Max Payne 3, but what else?
Yeah. I feel like each of these albums are really, really sort of, they have strong direction, if that makes sense. And they sort of
Yeah.
stick really closely to their concept. Yeah, they connect.
Well, with that one, I think we can end the 100 Gecs chatter here. We probably talked about it as long as the album goes for.
Not quite.
Favorites on there.
But but that's fine.
We're there. Yeah, favorites on there are 100% Stupid Horse. I love a good amount of Scar. That was just a great one first time. Money Machine's always a classic of just its interesting lyrics to say it's the best way of putting it. And I'm also a big fan of 800 dB Cloud. I think that's one of the big highlights on here as well. Least favorites, probably I Need Help Immediately.
My favorite was Stupid Horse by like quite a mile. And then I noted 745 Sticky and Money Machine as my second and third favorites. And then the rest I'm just sort of up and down on at the moment, but I'll come to love them as you guys do someday.
Hell yeah.
I like the Stupid Horse, of course. I Would Never Stop You as a favorite. I also like Gek to You. I think that's a really fun closer. Least favorite is probably honestly either Ringtone or Gek.
Damn.
Ringtone
No,
not bad.
I want to put out quickly before Chooks picks her. I have been listening to this classic 100 for the start of the day, getting on the stuff down. That's during this whole countdown of movie, TV, and game soundtracks, and we are to the top 3. Number 3 is The Mission, so it's gonna be in between Lord of the Rings. Man, I'm bad at my ass today, and Star Wars.
I think it's Lord of the Rings. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna...
yeah, I think
I'll take
I,
Lord
I
of the
think
Rings.
yeah, I'm guessing Lord of the Rings too, but we will see.
Okay.
The less attention Star Wars gets now is better, honestly.
I agree. I'm sick of
Yeah.
it. Get it out of here.
Go shoot it in space
Alright.
like Alderaan.
Favorites for me: Ringtone, Stupid Horse. Honestly, just the whole album.
Fair enough.
Is that a cop out?
That's
Yeah,
what
Not
we usually
this
do.
album.
This podcast has always been about cop-outs.
Yeah.
We should watch Cop Out actually.
Yeah, on the pod.
We should just watch Bad Boys, actually.
All right, so Trix is a couple favorites and then everything's cool.
No least favorites.
All right. Well, what next?
That's a good question. I think the easiest way is to make our guest pick and then completely ignore what he has to say.
Okay. Let's do Bravado by Kirin J. Callinan.
All right. Well,
you
I
just finished
think,
Max Payne 3, right?
yeah, I think we should do health actually. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right.
Yeah. So,
right.
Max Payne 3, a game I like,
Mediocre
but the
fucking
soundtrack
game.
is better.
I just want to point out that I muted the music whilst I was playing Max Payne 3 and put all of the albums on whilst I was playing it, starting with 100 Gecs, going into the Hell soundtrack, and then it was Distillers, then Bravado.
Wow.
Which fit the most?
That sounds incredible.
Well, the soundtrack did fit, but it was really fucking great playing the start of the game to 100 Gecs, but Bravado I felt like also fit. Literally, they all fit except Distillers.
I can
Like,
see that.
Distillers
I
would
can
fit.
see Bravado fitting really well.
I think the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack did fit the best though. The one that was actually made for it.
One would hope.
I'm going to be honest. While I was playing the game, I did not really notice the soundtrack that much.
So good.
It's really good.
Why is there that Spanish rap song?
I preferred it listening to it on its own than listening to it in the game.
It's not a Spanish rap song. It's a Portuguese rap song.
In Portuguese, I was thinking there's Portuguese. I forget that's different languages because I'm a little ignorant. Yeah, I was confused at the rap song at the end when I was listening to the soundtrack, and then I actually played the part where it was supposed to go. And like, okay.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in that game.
Yeah.
But,
Ruffle time.
Yeah, this is like the first time I'd ever heard of a band doing a game soundtrack. There have been others I found out since then, but like, because I was huge into like Health at that time, like the Crystal Castle scenes. I was like, oh my god, Health is doing a soundtrack. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And this whole thing is just now like completely like channeled their trajectory into the way that they've gone. Like, this is a completely different sound than the first two albums. Like, it's not completely different, but it's just a refinement and a rechanneling of like their noise rocky, like ambient, clashing fucking dissonance into something that's like really like subjective and feeling focused. I don't know.
I mean, one thing that is great to talk about, especially since we have the games YouTuber on the podcast here as well, is the game itself. And Pete, I got a question for you. Despite the fact that you're not the developer, you're still going to be the one to answer it. Okay. Why is this game so fucking mid?
Ooh, heavy. Look, so I played more of it this week on console and found I didn't like it nearly as much as on computer. And I think the reason is, I think I like lining up headshots with the keyboard and mouse, and then the screen flashes and it goes slow-mo for a second and it feels really good. But on console, it's a total skill issue and I'm terrible.
I should have played with keyboard and mouse since I bought it on Steam this week and played it, but I couldn't be fucked and went with the controller, went on the easiest difficulty, and I am not ashamed to say that I put on every fucking easy setting because I just wanted to get through it.
Fair enough.
And there is still some fucking design issues in there. This comes from the game developer and me. It's just fucking that last fucking mission with that random guy in the shield and the grenade launcher that just launches grenades fucking every time you fucking go somewhere. Who the fuck was like, yeah, that's fun.
I know the area you're talking about. So it's not as good as I remember. It interrupts you with cutscenes over and over again, and I wanted to stop and please stop.
Those are the best parts.
It's the big cutscenes are great. The little 3-second Max walks through a door cutscenes just make you want to die. And I don't like that you can't throw grenades, and I don't know why you can't throw grenades, and you can in multiplayer, and the enemies throw grenades at you, but you can't, and that bothers me.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
I noticed
once you think about it, you're like, oh, weird.
But that's not Max. That's not Max.
It was Max in the first two games when he threw grenades.
Fair.
But I still quite love it, even if the whole thing is a rip-off of Denzel Washington's Man on Fire. It's just very like edgy, and the pace moves forward really quickly, and its production values, and it's...
You know what it reminded me a lot though of? You remember that Mega 64 video on Deus Ex?
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that. I was full on expecting just him to pop out and say, I'm not big into books.
It's a bit like that. So the dialogue is really sort of teetering on the edge of being quite cringeworthy and horrible, especially if you're reading it on its own and not playing the game.
Sure.
But I think as a package, like especially with the Health soundtrack playing the entire time, I find I get really drawn into it and time just passes. The first time I played it, I was up till 3 a.m. without noticing, just in this strange trance of Max Payne 3. And while I don't think it captures the same vibe it did back then, it's still good.
I want to read out the second most popular Steam review for this game.
All right.
OMG, he's literally me.
So, Peter, how long did you take to play the game this time?
I didn't finish it. I think I got about halfway through.
But did you spend a lot of long chunks playing it?
I spent a long chunk playing it, probably like 4 hours or something.
So, memory serves. I played it over 2 days. Trix played it over 2 days. I think Ritz played it over 2 days.
I played it over 2 days. I played on the easiest difficulty. wasn't exactly two different bits. I played on the first day in one large bit and one small bit. And I was playing the game pretty casually. I was looking around at some areas to find those golden parts just because I was like, hey, if they're very close by, but I wasn't intentionally going out of my way.
Right.
And there were a couple moments where I was a little confused on which door to go through, but that's just me being an idiot. And all in all, first playthrough, not sure about all this on the easiest difficulty. Took me around 6 hours.
Wow. It's been so much longer. But I think it's a testament to the game that we all relatively played long chunks. Most of us beat it, you know, in a couple days' time.
100%. If I had already played the game, or we weren't doing this for the podcast, I would have probably gone halfway through that first session, gone, yeah, this is not for me, and probably not touched it again.
I would like to just take a second to say that I think while playing this, I nailed the vibe immaculately of what the game is supposed to be, because I played this on my PlayStation 3 on a big 30-inch HD CRT.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And that, it just, all the glitch effects, it works wonderfully in analog.
Oh, I'm
Oh, I
sure. I
like
would
that.
love to see that.
Yeah.
I probably played it that way originally, but I don't remember anymore.
This also feels like a game. Why the fuck does it have multiplayer? Why did every game need multiplayer?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
I
just
mean-
the thing at the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Call of Duty has it, so we need it. Fuck.
here's the thing though,
What
right? This is the last regular Rockstar release.
Mm.
Yeah.
After
you're
this was
right.
GTA 5.
And then
It's weird, isn't it?
after GTA 5 was Red Dead Redemption 2.
And all the little other stupid shit they put out, like the bully on Android and whatnot. But
Yeah.
after doing Red Dead, L.A. Noire, Max Payne 3, just goodbye.
Yeah, just nothing.
Two
They had a real
games.
hot streak. It was like Bully, Table Tennis, Midnight Club LA, Red Dead, this, and then it just nothing since. It's very depressing.
Yeah.
I'll even give it to Beta Raider as a interesting
Yeah, true.
segment of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, but I mean this is the thing of like the multiplayer was here, but they didn't go as far as GTA Online. I would love to have seen what would have happened if there was a Max Payne online thing.
Mm.
Good
Well, the
God,
online mode was
imagine.
really strange because if you went into slow-mo, everyone who could see you went into slow-mo. So like half the map could be playing in regular speed until they turn a corner and see you and time slows down. I think that's how it worked, which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Now, in an exciting part of news, we're about to find out what number 2 is. So I'll get back to all of you in a minute. Are we going to be disappointed with a Star Wars victory?
Slightly.
Possibly.
Probably, yeah. But now, if they just do an upset and they put Max Payne 3 at number 2,
Yeah,
I will be
health.
very happy.
And number 2 is Lord of the Rings.
Damn it.
Star Wars 1.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a Star Wars victory. I mean, John Williams was getting fucking everything in there.
Oh,
When,
yeah.
Well, when Jurassic Park was number 8, you knew this was gonna be a fucking ambush.
Betty can't wait to retire.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna do that.
After Indy 5, everything he's done everything. He's done all the new fucking movie shit. He's done. He has to be.
God. I can't believe we're getting another Harrison Ford Indiana Jones.
I know.
Who will die first, John Williams or Harrison Ford?
John
Together,
Williams.
both.
In one of Harrison Ford's plane crashes.
So originally, I looked this up. Apparently, it was pitched as a 5-film series because of the
Wait! I've got a very important question for Tricks though. I've just got a very important question. In that plane crash, what if they're both in the fridge?
They will still both die.
Oh.
I don't know, man. Those fridges are pretty indestructible.
I mean, as a fan of Indiana Jones, and basically its entirety, we don't talk about the 4th movie though. I should be excited for Indiana Jones 5, but I'm really not.
I think that's because we don't talk about the 4th movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's James Mangold, so that's something.
The only notable thing about Indiana Jones 4 is I saw it in theaters, and the guy who sat in front of my mother was such a dick that my father chased him out after the after the movie ended and just farted on him.
Oh,
Fair enough.
I mean, my memory.
Gang violence in America is a lot different to what I'm used to hearing.
That is the only thing I really remember about seeing Indiana Jones 4 in theaters.
I want to point out that Indiana Jones 4 has one of those great milestones of the Lego sets being better than the fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
My only memory
Those
of
are-
seeing Indiana Jones 4 in theaters is it was like the last time I think both of my parents and I went to the theaters together.
I never saw it in theater. I saw a pirated version on a bus when I was playing rugby union back in primary school, and we all had a trip to New Zealand, and it was on the fucking bus. They had a pirated copy because that shit was still in theaters, so there's no way they had a DVD.
That's incredible.
Especially in fucking New Zealand.
Oh, that is the way to see Indiana Jones 4, if you ask me.
Were there like
Great.
subtitles randomly on the screen in a different language?
All I remember was the motorcycle chase scene and being a dumb kid that goes, "Ooh, motorcycles! I must like those."
Yeah, I remember Shia swinging between branches and vines and stuff, like
Yeah.
Tarzan. That was confusing.
Although I did remember the fridge scene. But that was the one that even as a dumb fucking kid, you just look at it and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Great writing there, to be honest. It's fantastic.
So anyways, Max Payne 3.
Good
One of
game.
the distinctions of being a 360 double disc game.
Ooh.
Imagine trying to
know
put
that.
a fucking insert disc 2 thing in that. I think
Very awkward.
from what I remember, because I've now played both console versions, but I think this one, I think the Switch is once you get to the favelas, maybe it would make the most
That
sense.
makes sense.
You're playing it, you're 3 hours in, you're getting really mad at all the interruptions from the tiny little cutscenes, and then it interrupts you with a please change disc.
I think at that point I would just chuck the disc out of the window.
See, that presupposes that you're getting annoyed by all the mini cutscenes.
Yeah, it does.
Most
For
of
me,
us
it's
were,
like I
Dominic.
vibe. I like Max a lot. I think Max is a very fascinating character, even in this iteration.
Yeah, I still quite love the game. I think it's fantastic, but yeah.
It definitely
Talk
did
about
try
the
to be
soundtrack
really.
also.
It did really try to be fucking gritty as well. I will say, because obviously
Sure.
one of the big fucking moments in the game is the neck lacing death.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen many games since this game try to do that to this level.
Yeah.
If that,
Do what?
like maybe I don't know if this came out before or after Kane and Lynch 2,
Oh, definitely after.
but since after, okay, well since this game, then like I can't point to another game that's trying to do like extreme digital film grain and edgy dialogue and like unnecessarily depressed protagonist. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I appreciate it more because it's unique now, I suppose.
I mean, this was Rockstar's MO of like the Manhunt days. You know,
Yeah.
people talk about how fucking crazy the protagonists in the GTA 5 are. I've not played it, I don't know, but that was kind of their thing.
It was. It was. It feels like this is the swan song of the really edgy Rockstar era that is Manhunt driven. Whereas GTA 5 protagonists felt a bit more like
Cartoonish.
cartoonish. Yeah, like Pixar characters that swear.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think the last good Rockstar game that I played was LA Noire.
And that did wonders for the
right,
Australian
stood
game
out.
development situation, didn't it, Pete?
It sure did. What a great wholesome story of employee abuse and
Yeah, I remember like fucking
Yes.
breaking at the time. That was wild.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
they didn't credit half the people that worked on it, so they all sued, and then the company shut down.
Yeah.
Remember their
disaster.
follow-up title that was going to be called?
The Horror of
yeah.
the Orient.
War of the Orient. Like what? What a title!
I'm still kind of sad we never got it because LA Noire was like such a good game in my opinion.
Yeah, it looked interesting, I suppose, but that
Yeah.
studio was doomed no matter what.
Yeah.
Oh, I
it's too
mean, yeah,
bad.
like, yeah. That's just one of those stories you hear about. Like, they took forever to finish the game, and then there it was.
Yeah, came and went.
It's
Yeah.
Rockstar's Duke Nukem Forever in a sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There will be no Duke Nukem Forever slander on this podcast.
I didn't say anything good or bad. I
Sam?
just said, you know,
There will
there's
be no.
parallels.
I'm warning you. It's the greatest game of
Stand
2003.
for the flag, kneel for the Duke.
You know, I really have to say I like Rogue Warrior better. I will be honest.
That's fair.
Rogue Warriors.
yeah. So do I. What a game! It,
Oh my god.
Mickey Rourke going off in that game. Like, did they
That-
give
that
him
game was-
lines? Did
Hey,
you
Talk
just
the
do
about
game
talk
that?
was
about rap
just
songs, you know.
So fun to just play with a
Yeah.
friend on just
Ah,
the couch, shout the lines at each other.
I remember I was at
Dominic is right. There's no better song in a game than the end credits of Rogue Warrior.
Mm.
There is not. This is true.
Have you
we
analyzed that
did
song
the
on the
Rogue
pod
Warrior
yet?
soundtrack, episode
No.
200.
We have not. We are gonna
Yeah.
have to though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come on again and we can go through lyric by lyric.
Yes.
Yes.
That'll probably be another 4-hour episode though.
Yeah, probably.
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
because there is just so much there with Rogue Warrior. Oh my god, such deep music theory. Oh my god.
Oh,
You
Have it
thought
all.
you thought we were going heavy into lyrical content when we were talking about Neutral Milk Hotel. Nah, it's got nothing on the Rogue Warrior.
nothing at all.
I was gonna do the lyrics, but the version I found was all censored. And that's not the right way to do it.
Oh,
That's not the
it's
fun
kind of
way.
funny though. Just getting a
Is it?
beep in every 2 seconds.
I was gonna say, wouldn't the censored version just be the instrumental?
I'll post it in the chat.
I
I'll post a
mean,
link,
granted,
and then I'll post. You can see it in the preview there.
Oh yeah, 'cause it's Steam censoring.
Oh, that's good. Like
Oh,
a
that
ninja
is
style.
incredible.
I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna show them what time it is. Good spot to bring the noise.
Ah.
The morons will love this.
Oh,
Hope you
that-
heart
the-
like
the
fireworks.
save it
the
for
last
episode
line.
200, Dominic.
You morons will love this. It's a very good line.
that is
Oh, my
truly
God.
just getting someone in the booth and just saying, "Hey, this is the theme. Just riff on it, man."
Let's go for
Yeah.
it.
I think the best line in Rogue Warrior was where something blows up and then he shouts, "Suck my fucking balls, wrap them around your fucking mouth." Like, I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of wrapping somebody's balls around your mouth.
You can't question Dick
sucking them.
Marcinko.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
you're
are real
right.
things that he said.
Anyway, Max Payne 3 is a cool game.
Yeah.
So the
It's an
soundtrack
okay
is really
game.
cool. Tears was a huge song for me at that time. It's a great single. The whole I think the airport section as a whole really shows how well the soundtrack fits.
Yeah,
going
like
through
where
the
the
fucking
lyrics
conveyor
are coming
belt
in.
with the fucking
Yeah.
bump and bass in the back, and then when actually Tears just starts playing through the airport and you're diving through and just shooting dudes. It's so good.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're chasing
that's
down the
probably
bad guy at that point in the game. And it really feels like that song, without that song, that scene probably isn't memorable at all.
No,
The song makes this, when I think of Max Payne 3 now, I think of that airport scene and I can hear Tears playing. And
maybe I'm just
It's amazing.
misremembering this, but I feel like I remember on the PS3 version, it was much more pronounced that when you did bullet time or slow down, that was when the vocals would come up.
Yes, that is true.
But that's not the case on the 360 version. I think the 360 version just plays the song.
oh,
Huh.
weird.
I remember them talking about the stems in video interviews way back when, and I thought that was so cool.
I was
Must
gonna
be
say how
like a
interesting it
Blu-rated
is.
sort of deal.
Just to interrupt Trix again. Tears is actually one of Health's just most popular songs now.
And yeah, it was in Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing else on the soundtrack. I think there's 2 songs or something that have over 500,000. Oh, 3, sorry. Or
Yeah.
maybe 4. Out of 25 outside of Tears. And then Tears has 6.2 million.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah, the whole thing with the stems and the vocals coming up during when you do bullet time, that's the best part of it. That's really playing with audio in a game in a way that's meaningful and impactful.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I listened to the soundtrack through before I went to replay the game this week. And the whole time, obviously I've played the game before, so I'm biased, but the whole time it just sort of made me visualize being in some sort of I don't know, early in the morning in a foreign city and I'm completely lost. The atmosphere that it builds is so
Yes. Lost and
so
Hungover.
colorful. Yeah, it really makes you, it really puts you in a situation. It sort of lets your imagination run wild in ways that most music doesn't. But maybe that's just me.
I mean,
I get you.
it's more noticeable than just an orchestral score or just oh, here's the violins, here's the drums. Like they have
Yeah.
percussion, they have like a lot of synth, but they tailor it to be more actually effective. Like, oh, this is not just overdoing a soundtrack. This is we're trying to like describe and make the soundtrack a part of it instead of just being like we have to have a soundtrack. Here is something that's tailor made for this.
Yeah.
Like there are
Definitely.
other songs like Max Panama that I really like that I think really encapsulate the vibe that they go for. That's like really sad, really like even nostalgic to a degree, kind of just describing this man who's like in his 40s or 50s now, like self-consciously and self-awaredly like abusing pills and drugs and just doing work, surviving for no
Yeah.
reason but still surviving. It's really, I don't know, I find it fascinating.
Yeah, same. It's very appropriate, very tragic. Like there's no sound I can think of that suits this game better.
Yeah.
Because like the thing too is like this, none of this has to happen. Like I think in a larger sense, it's like why does Max Payne 3 have to happen? I think the game also asks that question in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like why does Max do any of this? And it's just because he has nothing else. And it's just, well, either do this or just do this.
Yeah.
Either I'm
It's like he's
drinking or I'm
withering
drinking
away
and
at
shooting a
home.
gun.
Yeah, exactly.
Good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
great soundtrack. Game, great soundtrack.
I like the game. The game is fun.
I like the game as well.
Hard.
Yeah,
It
I
is hard.
think that one's gonna be a mix. It's not because it's hard, it's because it's mid.
It just
Nah.
didn't click with me, I guess, is all I have to say.
I always
I
go for
remember enjoying
vibe and
it way more in
experiential
my
games
60s.
over like, oh my god, is it really fun to play, or is it totally unique all the time? Because like I've
Yeah,
never played
that's the
Gears of
camp I
War.
sit in.
I've never played Gears of War, but Trix equated it to Gears of War, and I'm like, oh, I should probably play Gears of War now if I like this.
Yeah.
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 Next album, shall we?
Favorites,
Yeah,
least favorites?
Favorites, I mean, Tears is a great
Tears.
song.
Cheers.
Yeah. Least favorite, I couldn't really tell you what the least favorite was. I'm going to do a cop out.
Sure.
Find the song with the least amount of plays and say that one.
I'm gonna say
yeah.
the song was playing during the church level.
Yeah,
because I fucking hated that
16230 is the one. Oh no, it's actually Birth. It's Birth I hate. Yeah.
Same.
Interesting. Okay. My favorites are Tears. I like Future a lot. I also like Max Panama. My least favorite's probably Plus 90.
Okay. I like Tears. Tears is a cool song. Has anyone mentioned Tears?
No.
Tears.
I the ones that started with Max : generally were a bit of fun. Not
Yes.
fun. That's the wrong word. But
No, they're fun.
I can't
about-
single
what
out.
What about
bad
Max?
song.
What about Max Kill though? That doesn't have the colon.
Yeah, that one's bad. Needs the colon.
Yeah.
That's some blasphemy there.
I'm sorry. No, that one was good. The guest has his own opinion, Dominic.
Mm.
Well, I'm also referencing the track called Blasphemy.
Oh.
No.
This is a train wreck. Anyway.
It's 100 episodes. Why would it not be a train wreck?
Anyone else have anything to say, good or bad, about Max Payne 3 and its soundtrack?
Fuck the level where you're in the church because for whatever reason my game kept like glitching or something, and I just could not figure out how to get the game to register that I was fucking killing the dude and then running down to kill the other guys, because it would just kill the other guy if that makes any sense at all. And I just fucking hated that section. I remember throwing my controller in a pile of clothes and just yelling.
Actually, you know what? Fuck that level with the docks because I couldn't actually tell what gate I was supposed to go through. So many times I've walked into the water thinking I was supposed to swim across the fucking thing.
Yeah, I can get that too. Yeah.
There was
Why
one
can't
level.
Max Payne swim?
All right, I'm gonna swim over to the next boat. You're dead. Fuck.
There was one level. There's one part late into like I think it was like the docks section, maybe the favelas, where you're like in a giant building, and that's when you get like a sniper rifle, and like for a long sequence, you're like sniping people and like across like a warehouse floor or something.
Yeah.
You
I know
have
which one you're talking
Go
about.
down and go up
The one I'm
again.
thinking of is
Yeah.
I hated
I'm
that the
only thinking
most.
of
That
the,
took me so long to get through. That fucking seems to because then you got like the guy bursting through the door with a shotgun as well. Oh my god, that was so
yeah.
hard.
Dissonant Waves, the premier gaming podcast.
Exactly what I wanted.
The first sniping section also sucked, where you're in the fucking football stadium.
Oh yeah,
I love
was
that
a,
mission.
There was a sequence where they're like coming through the seats, and like you just have to know that they're also coming like up and down in different rows. And they don't tell you that at all.
That was just pure trial and error. Fuck that.
Now, I have a great segue into the next album that we're doing. My partner is currently watching someone play Skate, so let's do the Tony Hawk's one and do the Distillers.
Ooh,
All
does that
right.
mean I get to
Yeah.
introduce it?
Yeah, you have
do.
to introduce it, you
Okay,
coward.
Sing Sing Death House is from 2002,
Yes.
maybe? Yes,
It is.
it's from 2002, and it is the Distillers' second album, a punk rock 2000s band led by Brody Dahl, or wow, I've never thought of how to
Dally
say
or
this.
something.
Dally, something like that. She's from Melbourne. And it's
Fitzroy Melbourne.
Fitzroy Melbourne, indeed. And to me, this was a very important album when I was a teenager because it's about angry teenagers, and I was an angry teenager. And nowadays, it sort of exists as this nostalgic escape from me. And it has some really fun bass guitar and drums and screaming and stuff, and I like it. Let's talk about it.
It's good to know that you don't need speech therapy to be a good singer, so that's giving me a chance.
Yeah, it's
What?
She slurs a lot. That's the
Oh.
joke, Dominic.
Okay, I did
There are-
not understand at all.
So the song where she sings, "My name's Brody, I'm from Melbourne, Fitzroy, Melbourne," is my least favorite on the album, sorry.
Which song is that?
It's called The Young Crazed Peeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that was
And
the
I find
lyrics.
it sounds a bit try hard and annoying, whereas the rest of the songs I quite love. My favorite is "Sick of It All," which is sort of this two-halved, angry, forgotten teenagers song.
I was gonna say as well is that the Young Craze Peeling actually comes off one of the fucking highlights of this album as well.
Do you think so?
It was a
If
single.
Seneca, the Seneca Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seneca Falls from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is an incredible song.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck she's saying, man.
Something about the suffragettes, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's because Seneca Falls is the birthplace of the suffragette movement, and women's rights as a whole, and so the whole song is kind of about that.
It was in
And
Seneca
I
Falls,
used
New
to live
York.
about an hour and a half away from Seneca Falls, and I've been there a few times, and it's a nice place.
Nice.
And you got that on the album with "My name is Brody, and I'm here to say I'm from Fitzroy, Melbourne" in a major way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you went in and deleted that song, I think I'd like this album more. A lot more. But yeah.
I have a slight interruption there for some bad news.
Oh,
There might be a sriracha shortage in the future.
sriracha shortage.
no.
Oh,
Yes.
Do tell.
I just got a text from my roommate in all caps. Because of climate change, there might be a sriracha shortage.
Unfortunate.
no further explanation needed.
Finally,
Yep.
we're feeling the effects of climate change.
God damn it, climate change.
Not my sriracha. It hit me. I got everything I need.
I have a bottle
It hit me.
within
I got
arm's
everything
reach
I
of me.
need.
I'm holding a bottle of sriracha right now.
We gotta make it fucking last.
One heart felt too much from the start. I've seen people come and go, living large and living low. You can build up your wall, sitting on death row, let the curtain fall on your murdered soul.
We can see the sriracha tricks.
I'd
I'm
like
curious
keep
to
up
know
with that stuff.
what you guys think of Sing Sing Death House as people who likely didn't get as into it as a teenager as I did and can detach themselves.
Well, obviously, I'm as well aware as the Tony Hawk soundtrack as you are, and I knew of like Seneca Falls and that as well, despite not really being big into the Distillers. And Coral Fang was actually the first time when we covered it, I'd actually listened to a Distillers album in full, and I don't know, it was kind of like, I recall not being so impressed by it, not really hating it, but just thinking it was pretty mid. This album's better than it. I
Yes.
think it hits a lot harder, and I don't think I think their best song is still "Beat Your Heart Out," but I think I liked moments on here, and then was not so impressed by other moments on here. I mean, I feel like when it comes to even just Australia, I know Distillers are American with the Australian singer, but when it comes to Australian punks, especially that was more on the skater scene, I feel like Body Jar did a lot more and a lot better And to be honest, and that's what I kind of think of when I think of this kind of like Aussie punk from around this time.
Yeah, they were sort of going for different things. This is a lot less palatable, I would say.
This is
Yeah.
pure like punk, like in your face scream
Yeah.
punk.
Yeah.
My theory that most everything from 2003 is awful is still ringing true. Coral Fang is a weaker album compared to this. This is
I agree.
just a hardcore punk record that is not trying to be anything more than it is, and it does a really good job of doing that. I think Coral Fang went a bit too far and like tried to go higher, and that's good, but I don't think they were quite backing that up with what they needed to do. Like they don't need to end that album with Death Sex of 12-minute ambient track. Like
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to go with
Forgot
what the best thing we probably even covered that was in a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game. I mean, we already did Toxicity.
also did AFI.
Yeah.
Boy Who Destroyed the World.
Yeah, and I don't think, like I said, I do like.
Oh, we
this
also
album.
did
I think
Amoeba
it's-
from the Adolescents. Sorry, that's the other thing we covered.
I think I would. This album's obviously a lot less problematic than that album was, but I think
Yes.
I'd put this around the same kind of level of enjoyment as the Adolescents album.
I like the Adolescents a bit more, only because they have a larger range of songs. There's more of them, and then they also do like the more developed and like intricate songs like Coral Fang tries to do, and then mixes them in with like the shorter.
Yeah,
idiot-
but this
idiot
album,
songs.
this album doesn't have a line of "I can't live in a world this gay."
This is true.
I will say I prefer the 80s stylings of the Adolescents better
That's-
than.
I agree. I really like that Adolescence album, but I am more attached to this album. I think the Adolescence album is better to me now.
There's just something about like 80s punk that 80s style punk that just like hasn't been recaptured so much with the new genres, if you ask me.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like there's like less to be not less to be angry about, but like I don't know. Punk back then was still a new thing, and people were still figuring it out. And now that there's like a defined way of like viewing punk, people tend to fall into that more often.
Thank
That-
God
that's
for
the,
Machine
like,
Gun
like,
Kelly for saving us all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like the Adolescents were just doing it, and they were like 17, 18, you know, like that was just
Yeah.
come up and coming. But
I mean,
That's
we've
why I
listened
like,
to. I'll let Chicks finish first, actually.
I was gonna say that's why I like the Liquid so much because it really just felt like that they're just making noise for the sake of making noise.
I was gonna say, like, we've covered some of like the more modern ones, like specifically the Chats, which has a lot of kind of inspiration from that '80s style. Of
Oh
punk.
yeah.
And I when it comes to like this early noughties style, where there was definitely obviously a like early noughties punk, I also felt like it always had a huge fucking fashion movement come with it. Like there was this
Yeah.
whole kind of like.
Yeah.
And I don't just even mean fashion as in the clothes that you're wearing, but like you had to have a certain kind of look or style to be punk, or else you weren't actually punk. Which means that you had to break conformity by being
Yes.
conformist. I still don't get that why we decided that was a fucking thing. But
Yeah.
I mean this does kind of there are many sounds of punk in the early noughties. So there's obviously the pop punk, and then there's the other side of the spectrum, which is the more regular punk on here. And this is a good summary of it. We are getting number one in the Classics 100 about to play, so we're getting that confirmation for Star Wars soon. And I think
agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are some solid moments in here which still kind of hold up. There's a Star Wars confirmation playing in my ears at the moment. But there's also just a lot of moments in here which are just stuck in its time period, and you just go, yeah, it's kind of there. It's not that it's bad, but it's just I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah, I think it's very of its time in a way. I think when the album leans more hardcore, it's aged better actually, which I'm not sure if you agree with.
Yeah.
Because when it's sort of you can feel the influence of the pop punk Blink-182 Green Day time period.
Yeah.
You get tracks like The Young Crazed Peeling. And I know City of Angels was a huge single at the time, but it's quite boring now, I think.
This is the city, the city of angels.
We have Seneca Falls that has that same style, which is still a good song.
Seneca Falls is interesting because it keeps up a pace a lot better than those songs seem to. It doesn't
Plus-
let up in areas.
It feels like with songs like The Young Crazed Peeling and City of Angels, she's trying to do it in a vocal style. Like, I know I was joking about how she slows and stuff, but she's actually a lot more comfortable when she's singing like that and it works like that. And there's other songs that kind of made to be in that Green Day style and it doesn't work as well. Like I don't hate City of Angels, but it's not the peak of this.
No,
No,
I think
I think
they're-
it's
Go ahead.
yeah.
I was gonna say Tony Hawk handcrafted and handpicked the
Yes.
best song for this song. It was
They-
definitely Tony Hawk himself, 100%, no
they
doubt.
went through every year and decided like, hey, what's popular, what's kicking on the underground, what's happening. Sometimes they get Exhibit, and sometimes they get Distillers.
Yeah.
I mean, if Tony Hawk actually did pick out the soundtrack for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, it would just be all full of Devo tracks.
And the faction or whatever
Yeah,
Steve Caballero's band is.
yeah.
I do find it
Yeah.
interesting that it's like this album starts out long because like the first 4 songs are all like 3+ minutes long, and then
Yeah,
there's a
and then the
couple
rest
more
are
of
all a
those.
minute long.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Now,
more
I
of
just
those,
want
but
to
yeah.
I want to say as well, we're joking about the Steve Caballero, but remember we did have Mike Valley, and we did have Bam Margera's brother with Can't
did.
Kill Yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, CKY is actually fucking cool sometimes, but hey,
Yeah, only sometimes though.
CKY also on the Tony Hawk 3 soundtrack. We need to cover that at some point.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. We're on the
Oh,
Tony
yeah,
Hawk
yeah,
soundtrack.
Yeah.
I actually-
Yeah.
You've wrapped it around to the point that we hadn't left yet.
So the rest of the album after City of Angels is when a lot of those minute-long songs come in.
Yeah.
I can see people thinking that is the weakest part of the album, but I actually think it's kind of the most interesting and most fun. There's a part in I Understand where they stop playing guitar and it's just the drums and bass while she sings over the top of it, and it's amazing. And then you go back and listen through all the other songs and you try and like focus your mind on the bass guitar that's constantly rolling through, or the drums really fast smashing
Yeah.
us there, and it sort of reveals itself as this really sort of fun high tempo thing that I think the slower pop punky songs completely fail to deliver on.
Yeah,
But,
it's not like it's suffering from like an identity issue. It seems to be cohesive in a way. It's just unbalanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like
It definitely is.
This album is fucking phenomenal.
It
Lordy
definitely
Lordy
is a
bit
fucking
catchy. I will say that.
I like Lordy Lordy. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a little vocal melody.
Yeah.
Young Girl also kind of delivers on a slower style better than earlier tracks. But yeah.
Overall, this was I enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to enjoy it in full after having listened to Coral Fang. If I find this at a JB on clearance for $1, like I've been finding every fucking album, I will not hesitate to pick it up. Probably that's my review.
Good
This is
review.
probably going to be my number 1 for the week, if I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Cool.
I'm
I
glad.
like this. I like it more than Coral Fang. I do like Brody Dolly a lot. I do like her voice. I think, as I've said many times, something that especially a punk band needs to stand out is someone with a unique vocal style. I think she fits that very well. This is a way better
Absolutely.
showcase of that than Coral Fang. So, good album.
Yeah, I think if we're still going on our train of thought that when the Distillers adhered closer to pop punk, they got worse, Coral Fang speaks to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beat Your Heart Out is still catchy as shit though.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
and Seneca Falls. Tony Hawk just got the best 2 songs.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The first album's really fun too. The first album's a lot like Sing Sing Death House. Sing Sing Death House almost feels like the more refined version, but there's some great tracks on the first one as well.
Reading that the first album, they got reviews were saying like your lyrics don't make any fucking sense. So
they
put this out
don't.
in response.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Favorite
Alright.
tracks. I like Seneca Falls. I like Bullet and the Bullseye actually as well, and Sing Sing Death House. Least favorite, I'm probably gonna say like I like the second half, but it does kind of run together a little bit. So probably like Young Girl or Hate Me is probably my least favorite.
Favorites are Seneca Falls, and least favorite is either Young Crazed Peeling, because I do fully agree, or maybe a Lordy Lordy.
My favorite is Sick of It All, and probably Seneca Falls and I Understand. My least favorite is The Young Crazed Feeling and maybe
Peeling,
City
you
of Angels.
idiot, fake fan.
Peeling.
No, he was
and-
doing a bit intentionally.
And maybe City of Angels and I Am a Revenant because they're a bit boring.
Favorites for me, probably Seneca Falls. But I really just kind of enjoyed the whole album, and I don't really have a least favorite.
I'm so glad. I'm so
No.
glad I
What?
introduced someone to this
One
album
out, one out of 4, baby.
who likes it more than I do.
So
I just like good punk music, and this is good punk music.
It is.
I agree.
It is. It's solid.
All right, everybody, it's time to get your dicks out for Kirin J. Callinan.
Hey, I've been trying to do a segue here.
Fuck you, get your dicks out.
Why get pissed off when you get pissed on? It's time to talk about Kirin J. Callinan.
Yeah, so for those who have never seen the album art or didn't quite make that connection, he is pissing on himself. That is the album art.
Mhm.
Yes.
I missed that.
Yeah, or you take a look at it again and you go, oh, oh yes, he's 100.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, what do you think that liquid was?
I didn't look too closely at it, if I'm gonna be honest.
Good.
Bravado came out in 2017 from Kirin J.
Yeah, I
Callinan.
see that.
It is an interesting pop song from a man who's probably even more interesting than the album itself. We haven't really covered Kirin J. Callinan directly before, but we did cover Genesis and Rusu, in which one, Kirin J. Callinan has helped promote him, and two, has actually a part of the Black Dog Band. He plays guitar. There's also a lot of history of Kirin J. Callinan's music as well. The band Mercy Arms, he was the guitarist of that as well before they disbanded and he went solo. He's been doing the solo act for a while now, and obviously after this album out, he had a bit of controversy when at the Arias, the reporters and journalists completely egged him on to lift up his kilt, so he lifted up his kilt, and he was wearing nothing underneath, because who wears anything underneath a kilt? And the picture went viral, and he had to plead guilty to that charge. Ended up having a massive. He was posed to be pretty big after the blow up due to the meme of Big Enough, and was going to be like, okay, well, we potentially got a bit of a pop star happening, and then just like his career just went down in popularity right after that. But this is still a pretty fun album. There is a surprisingly large list of guest stars on here.
Yes.
Jimmy Barnes and Alex Cameron on Big Enough, obviously. Ways Blood and Mac DeMarco apparently on Friend of Lindy Morrison. Some bunch of other random guest stars on here as well as just some solo songs. I listened to this quite a bit in 2017. I chose it because I know Pete also listened to this quite a bit over the past couple of years. Let's get into this, I guess.
Where do you even start with this album?
I remember we were on the first Entertainment Exchange run that we did. You picked Song About Drugs as one of the songs to put on for the road trip.
Song About Drugs is cool. It feels like every key change is a new entrance into the level of how high you are listening to this song. Song About Drugs is a great second track on the album. I think it's like, oh, this is building and building and building and building, and it keeps paying off every time it builds. It's quite brilliant.
It's just one of the straight up highlights of this album. I love the verses on here, which are just they're quite seductive in a way that he's talking at times. Despite the lyrical content, the great line of wrapped up in plastic, thrown down the stairs, feeling fantastic.
Strip me down to my underwear. He sort of embraces being creepy and weird.
Yeah.
And which is shown in the next track, Down to Hang, like to the extreme. But he's unafraid to make you slightly uncomfortable, which speaks to how he's happy to.
Now, I believe as well with Down to Hang, I believe that lyrical content is actually about, hanging.
Yeah.
Which is how, there's a lot of dark themes that actually are surprisingly on this for how positive the album fucking sounds.
Yeah.
So, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this 2010's Tism?
The Tism of the 2010s?
Yes.
I don't think he's political enough to be a Tism.
Okay, I mean, I think the darkness and the frank comedy of it does match, but yes, the political.
I think there are some points in which I do agree. I feel like Tism weren't always political, but they were always kind of like parodying something specific here. Whilst Kirin J. Callinan is not really parodying, more as he's just taking the piss. Is the kind of
he would also make a song as hard as Old Man River.
Yeah.
Literally in this case on the cover.
Mm.
Yeah.
Granted, though, I mean, obviously the big fucking song to talk about here is Big Enough, because that I purposely didn't talk about that one going into this, and then you two both listened to it and Trix, you then realized you actually knew of Kirin J because you knew the meme, and I think Dominic, you had somehow actually avoided it, hadn't you?
I did, yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've tweeted an edited version of the Jimmy Barnes scream where it's a cat.
Yeah.
We dig this up.
Well, 2017.
But,
I wasn't on Tumblr as much in 2017 probably, so I probably skipped over it.
So the obvious big joke about the screaming on there is Jimmy Barnes, who was a member of Cold Chisel, did a lot of solo work as well that were quite big hits in Australia. Is well known for his vocals being kind of very screamy at times. Usually he's not just going the whole fucking time, but it is a well known thing that he does. So that's why he's doing that on there. And I guess Molly Lewis is probably known for whistling as well. But that's actually the joke, and a lot of people don't quite, especially internationally, probably don't quite realize that, because I don't know how popular Cold Chisel was overseas, but I'm assuming not very.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
I just came across a headline that caught my attention. I'm going to put in the chat related to this.
Well, yeah, straight up though, and Pete can agree, Cold Chisel is probably one of the biggest bands in Australian music history.
Yeah, they're one of the most recognizable to Australians. Like, I think there's obviously an undercurrent of humor and sarcasm to this whole album.
Yeah.
But I think some of that would be lost on Big Enough as it went international.
That's very fair. So I posted, it's from pedestrian.tv. It says, "Oh shit, Kirin J Callinan's got Jimmy fucking Barnes in the new video Big Enough." And the picture they have, it looks like it's almost from Death Stranding. Like,
what do you think? What do you think inspired Death Stranding, huh?
It's Alex Cameron and Kirin J Callinan. Then that's perfect.
Yeah. So we actually have covered Alex Cameron before. I chose his 2022 album because I figured, hey, I needed to listen to that. May as well give him an excuse to. And we weren't so keen on that album. There were some highlights, obviously, of it. But this is one where I think both of you now have got a new respect for Alex Cameron, especially the character that he plays in Big Enough. I mean, that's what the song is, incredibly well crafted. I mean, both Kirin J Callinan and Alex Cameron are fantastic at playing characters in their own songs. They're both great songwriters. Obviously, we talked about the songwritings that Alex Cameron's done. One of the biggest ones is that he's helped write a couple songs with the Killers, which is quite a big fucking feat. Specifically Run for Cover. And obviously, you know, we're talking about the Jimmy Barnes and the Molly Lewis and the whistling and blah, 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 blah. But it just, as this kind of, it sounds like a song that we could put as a Eurovision entry and would actually have a chance of winning.
Yeah. it like, obviously it's a funny song, but it almost has this, I guess, Eurovision style, like, it is sung with conviction, you know? There's no sort of, like, it doesn't break the fourth wall, I guess, if that makes sense.
There's shit, like, we're talking about how it takes a piss and stuff, but actually name a single moment in this whole album, where Kirin J Callinan half-asses his performance. Because he doesn't. He's full on taking all of this seriously.
And like the core message of Big Enough being like, let's forget our differences, the world is big enough, and then he chants all the countries, like, let's all live in harmony. Like, obviously it's quite funny and cheesy and rudimentary almost, but you get the feeling like he actually like believes the message quite a bit, and he thinks it's quite wholesome, and he enjoys delivering it, if that makes sense. Like, it's funny, but there's a hint of truth to it that comes through.
Well, he's actually gone in interviews and said it's like, just because it's funny doesn't mean it's not serious.
It's very true.
And I think it makes it all that bit more charming.
Yeah.
You sort of like, yeah, I'm with you. The world is big enough.
Yeah, sometimes dynamics and tone and having comedy and otherwise serious or just regular things helps make people pay attention more. You know, it's like in a video, you're going to put some comedy in there because it's just the same tone, the same subject all the way through. It gets boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I want to also highlight something here. Pete, on your Discord, on your music channel, you only have one thing pinned there. And do you know what that is?
No. Is it Big Enough by Kirin J Callinan?
It's Bravado from Kirin J Callinan. It is the closing track off here.
Bravado.
And you pinged it yourself.
Yeah.
Good on me, because it's a good track. It feels like right at the end, he kind of decided to have a more earnest moment. It's quite a beautiful song. He's out of key, and it feels like it's on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's sort of taking his mask off a bit. He's like, this whole album is bravado. I'm a showman, but there is a person behind here, and it's me. Yeah, I find it quite a stunning track, but I can see why people would hate it because it sounds goofy.
No, not at all.
Instrumentally, I think it's actually one of the most interesting off here. I love the kind of like, it's like that. It's near wonky at the end with the with the synth that kind of happens. It's weird because it feels like it's in a kind of like different tune, I guess, but it's very catchy. Kind of like, I mean, this whole album is actually pretty danceable, which is the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's because a lot of the performances are done on here are done incredibly fucking well and done with a genuine interest in doing it.
Yeah.
Like even the Jimmy Barnes scream is not half-assed.
No, yeah, he goes for it.
Yeah.
There's some throat meat in that.
So when it comes to a lot of the kind of moments, like on like Down to Hang and something where it kind of turns very, like it has like this kind of beat switch almost in it, which is kind of best way of explaining it. I mean, Live Each Day, which is kind of very like strolly kind of thing. But all these moments on here, I still think are actually quite danceable. This is a pop album, and he's described this album in many ways. There's a good joke in the interview I leaked where he's at the nude beach and he's naked explaining the album and he's going, it's disgusting, it's abhorrent and all this, and then he's asked, okay, what genre would that be, and he just says pop.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's-
accurate, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If I pick a song that was half-assed or not, maybe living up to its full, what it could be, I think Family Home could have gotten more bump because it has the Thin Family. But hey,
Yeah, I skip Family Home. It's to me it has sort of like a comfy, nostalgic feel to it, and I like how he sort of really emphasizes the Australian accent in it. He's like, family home. You're like, yes, go down in your register, which he doesn't do in Bravado because he's like Bravado, and you're like, that's not Australian. But otherwise, I find it it's too slow and it breaks up the album too much.
that said, the other song I would expect to be lesser, but really like always blows me away every time is This Whole Town.
Yeah, it goes off, doesn't it?
It's so good. It's such a great duet, just like Big Enough, but like,
Yeah.
God.
This Whole Town feels like the most 2008 DJ mega mix of them all. It's also nostalgic in a different way, going back to Eurodance and trance and all that.
Just
It's a weird album.
Such a
Like,
great-
I don't think we've actually covered an album that sounds like this, but we've set up. But yeah, I don't think it's the most unique sounding, but I think when it comes to albums that sound like this, it's just miles above the rest.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
It's not to say there's no flaws to this record. Like, I do kind of agree with Family Home, but it's an album I think is holding up to time, and potentially in 10 years it'll still be something I call a classic. Whether or not I don't think it's going to be one of those, this is one of the best albums of all time, but I don't think it has to be the best album of all time to be a classic. And I think this is a good little time period, which a lot of people might just dismiss as, it's got that meme song on it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that meme song's a fucking banger. I put it in my top 100 of that year for songs, and I have no regrets. In fact, if I did it again, I would put it higher and put a song about drugs on there as well.
Yeah, I've only loved this album more as time has gone on, which I didn't expect because it is kind of memey and jokey, but there is a core to it that I really like.
Yeah.
And he leans into like an 80s synth vibe a little bit every now and then, especially with Telling Me This or Telling This, whatever it's called.
Yeah, telling me this. Live Each Day a little bit too.
Yeah, Live Each Day. He and that is kind of the direction he went on to continue in, and sort of eliminated the more 2008 DJ Megamix stuff.
Oh, so he's more Donny Benet now?
A little bit, yeah.
It's fine.
And I think this album blending the two with some other stuff is surprisingly effective. And I think My Moment sets it up really well as well. Like he starts out as a mystical 80s synthy thing while yelling out the word China. And then it sort of just starts to go off towards the end, and you're like, okay, I don't know what I'm in for, but I like these two sounds together. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
special album.
Yeah, we haven't done a ton of like clubby EDM, IDM music. Like ironically, like we did Julian K last episode, and that's the closest we've come to in a while, I think. This is more positive and more upbeat than the dark album that is Death to Analog.
Yeah,
I like This Whole Town and Big Enough, of course. Bravado's fun as well. And least favorite's Family Home.
All I think that matters is that our current Prime Minister is a fan of him.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Which honestly, I was already a fan of Kirin, so it makes me like the Prime Minister more, but...
Yeah, my favorite track, it's probably Song About Drugs. I also like Living Each Day and Bravado a lot. And Big Enough is fun. And yeah, least favorite Family Home. Friend of Lindy Morrison is kind of slow at times, but it's still a bouncy song. But yeah, Family Home, meh.
I'm going to go the cop out because I already agreed anyway, so I'm agreeing with Pete.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, Trix, do you want to say something?
Gotta make sure he comes to episode 200, you know?
That's right.
I guess I'll go with favorite song about drugs. Also the song against drugs, like we're fucking doing a Neutral Milk Hotel. But train of thought, where was I? Yeah, song about drugs, real good. Yeah, Family Home, one of the weaker ones. I liked hold up, I just had it on my phone. I liked Living Each Day.
Yeah, it's a good track. It
Yeah.
feels like you're in like an 80s soda commercial or something.
Yeah, and I watched the music video for it too, and I gotta say there's some interesting instrument choice for what they're playing. The bass player's got a 2-string bass, and they're all in cowboy outfits, by the way. And the guitar player has a 7-string BC Rich not Mockingbird. It's like the Warlock or something. It's like one of the super pointy ones, and I'm like, this doesn't fit, but it fits, and it's rad.
Love it.
So now we come to the part of the episode where we attempt to rank our feelings and what we think is the worst and the best.
I will say that usually the ranking is the last part, and we are getting the ranking now. But afterwards, we are also getting Pete to rank our lyrics from last week's episode.
I've got
I have something to say before that, but yes, we'll get there in a minute.
But first, we'll start off with we will start off with the rankings of the albums, and I'm happy to start. And Pete, you remember how I just built you up?
No.
Oh, good, because number 4 is the Distillers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry about that. Number 3 is the Health soundtrack. Number 2 is Kirin J, Callinan, and number 1's 100 Gecs.
Okay.
All right.
I guess I'll go next. No one else is speaking. Number 4, I like all these albums. I'll be clear. I like all of these albums. But number 4, I will put as Distillers, like Ritz. Number 3, I will put as Kirin J, Callinan. Number 2, I'll put as the Health Max Payne 3 soundtrack. And number 1 is 100 Gecs.
Damn.
All right. Well, number 4 for me is 100 Gecs, which will be number 1 next week, as we've discussed.
Yeah, fair enough.
Number 3 for me is kind of my favorite album here, but I would also consider it the 3rd best album here, with Sing Sing Death House by the Distillers. Number 2 is the Max Payne 3 official soundtrack, which is magical. And then number 1 is Bravado. I can't not love it.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. I waited for last because everybody kept talking over me this episode, and so I figured I'd just wait.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
You want me to keep talking to you right now?
Fine.
Yeah. I hope I'm not interrupting you here. You know.
I'm more just making fun of the whole.
Yeah, I understand. I hope I'm not interrupting. Go ahead, Chicks. Go ahead.
Number 4, this is gonna be real different than all years. I'm gonna say that. Number 4, the game brought it down, but it's still really good. Health's Max Payne 3 soundtrack. Number 3 is going to be 100 Gecs for me.
Fair enough.
Number 2, Kirin J, Callinan, Bravado. And number 1, the Distillers, Sing Sing Death House.
Nice.
I just feel like
yes.
I have to give it to Sing Sing Death House because I gave myself a punk rock stick and poke tattoo, and I was just kind of in a punk rock mood all this week, you know?
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's
I can appreciate that. It's a
Now-
fun
how it
album.
works.
Now let's talk for a second. Why is Peter Minimme even here? Let's talk about this for a second.
All right.
We all
Alright.
met on his Discord in 2019.
We did.
And we decided, hey,
Did.
let's do a podcast. And now we're 100
Specifically the
episodes
first
and
time.
20-some minisodes later.
Yeah.
And it's all
Specifically,
because
the first time we all kind of talked together was the Max Payne, not the Max Payne, the Quantum of Solace multiplayer revival.
Oh.
were we
that's
all
funny.
on that?
We all were.
I
Yeah.
don't think I was.
I think you
You
tuned
joined
in,
for
but
a
you
little
didn't
bit.
play.
Yeah, that might have been me actually. It's
Yeah.
usually me.
Um,
Sneak in for
remember
a
that.
cheeky game session, you know?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have. I'm inherently tied to this podcast, and I'd like to take all credit for the last 99 episodes.
Well, you
Absolutely.
could you
I feel
could
like
take
that was all me, honestly.
you can take all money that we have as well because we got none.
Yeah.
You're basically our
No,
father.
but it's if I'm not being sarcastic, it's pretty amazing that that's how this started. You know, it's like
We're probably
friendship
the
is
least
awesome because I
controversial
meet a
people on your
YouTuber.
Discord, to be honest.
True. But yeah, it's quite a special thing. I'm glad we're still here, or you're still here, and I'm here to join.
Yes.
Yeah.
You here to act like you've been here for 100
Yeah.
episodes already.
I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah.
I think everyone's glad that you're here, finally. 100 episodes in, we got
Yeah.
our third guest ever.
Yeah.
Nice.
To
Who
be
are the other
fair,
two?
Ash has usually appeared in some of my episodes. In fact, Ash, you want to say any words right now? She's actually not even saying no.
Wow.
I'm impressed by her dedication.
Not even
to
going to
this.
grace you with a response.
Damn.
Ash just giving me a response, just not one that's on the microphone.
Okay.
She's a sly motherfucker, and I love her.
I think she got a cough in
Adorable.
earlier, but other than that, yeah, she's been silent.
Yeah,
Mm.
probably.
But yes, so thank you. Round of applause
No,
for Minimme
my
and
pleasure.
your channel and everything.
Thank you. I very much
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So
Hell yeah.
now you get to tear us down and talk about our lyrics.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm very curious to see if any of these are in your top 5 because I feel like I have strange tastes. Because you guys ranked them all too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did rank, and I'm trying to remember exactly what my my 3, 2, 1
I
was,
think we
but
just did. Oh yeah, we did.
I do see it. It's all good.
Okay. I've got 5 here. I have written down little justifications for why, and I've written down my guess as to who wrote them because I don't
We
know.
will not tell you who has written them until you've done all 5.
All right.
Okay. Number 5. Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Mm.
I liked this one because like every lyric in it felt like a slap in the face, you know? It was depressing. It was a song about falling through the cracks. It was a story we know intimately, whether it's ourselves or someone we know. And yeah, I just felt like it was impactful. So number 5 is.
All right.
And my guess to who wrote it is Tricks because the word grade is an American word and we say year. But then I kind of
is
flipped a
not me.
coin. Oh, okay. All right. Got that wrong. Number 4, Untitled Ghost Song.
Okay.
So this one I like because I couldn't quite like nail down the tone of it at any point. It starts out kind of like weird and creepy, and then I like the idea of a chorus hitting with the line "I'm a ghost," and you're like, it's a reveal. That's what's going on here. And then it sort of like whiplashes you again when it gets quite serious at the end. And it's like this strange tonal evolution. And maybe I'm being too charitable to it. But I quite enjoyed, I found it compelling to try and figure out what was even going on in this song. And I've also guessing that that's Tricks because Welbitrin is an American thing and trans issues are brought up. Am I wrong?
Well,
I did
we-
not bring up trans issues specifically, but that was me.
Okay.
We're trying to wait until the
Okay.
end.
Yeah, we're trying to wait
Oh,
to the
sorry,
end.
sorry.
Trix,
Okay,
you've
sorry, I
ruined it.
shouldn't have asked, but at least 1 out of 5, not bad. Mayday Graduation, number 3. I liked this one because it has a lot of setup and reveal storytelling. It's like a really good it sets the stage really well. It's sort of like I read it and I kind of heard the song playing in my head and I kind of visualized the scene it was setting up, and it felt very high concept, and it used a lot of descriptive storytelling. And my guess is Dominic wrote this because Dominic's a bit of an explorer, a bit of a dreamer, would go for the high concept things. But we'll see if I'm wrong.
I don't even know what you mean by that. An explorer.
Yeah, me neither, really. It's my guess. You're a writer, maybe. It feels like a lyrics written by a writer.
Fair enough.
Number two is grocery shopping, which I found to be very evocative because it was so angry and edgy and bold and emotionally written. Like it was almost emotionally written carelessly. It almost felt like it was written in 2 minutes, which I'm sure it wasn't. That's not an insult. That's kind of a good thing. It feels very like off the cuff and just pure hatred that you can feel coming through. It made me feel all riled up, and I like it. I liked that, and I can hear the sort of angry punk song behind it. And I think that Callum wrote this because I think.
What do you mean by this?
I'm not. That's not a comment on your character, but you mentioned the abortion laws sucked until 2019, and I'm pretty sure that was here, but we'll see. I'm gonna let you all guess what number 1 is.
I'm pretty sure I know, but
number 1
Yeah.
is probably gonna be Untitled or Penno.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I'm guessing Pano for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, well it's Amanita muscaria
Wow.
because it's about a mushroom. I like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I liked the scene this one set up. I like the idea of a fantasy forest, and it's all mysterious and whimsical and flowery and immersive in a way. I found it compelling to read, and it sort of took a few reads to figure out what it was trying to say, and I still don't really know what it was trying to say, but I found it fun to decipher it, and I liked the scene it set up, and for the same reasons as Mayday Graduation, I'm going to say Dominic wrote this. How did I do?
So we'll go up from number 5 to
Okay, number 5 was Mama Didn't Raise
yeah,
No Quarter.
and you guessed Tricks.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Okay. Well, my logic was completely wrong then, because I said that grade is an American word. Anyway.
So no, I went for it. There was two lines. I was going like 10th grade modern history. I first starting with the number that I did like going year 10 modern history because I feel like it just hits hard over the number.
I think so. All right, Untitled Ghost Song we already revealed.
Yeah, that was Tricks. You are correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Mayday Graduation, I guess Dominic.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, very good. Okay, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Grocery shopping is Callum.
I did write it in 2 minutes. Yes.
Did you?
I wrote it in an hour.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say it didn't actually
So
seem like.
I wrote the initial verses about the Butterbox stuff originally, and then the actual like kind of screaming breakdown part of it was written in an hour because it was intentionally just trying to go quick flow anger stuff. And then obviously you're right, the 2019 we didn't actually decriminalize abortion in New South Wales until 2019.
It's a bit of a giveaway. And then the song about the mushroom was Dominic.
That was me.
That was Tricks.
Okay.
You went full on anti-bias by not picking Penno.
Maybe I did. I liked Penno, but I
felt
like
you know damn well the chorus still hits.
I know the story it was telling. I just felt like I don't know. I guess grocery shopping and Mama Didn't Raise No Quarter kind of hit in the same ways, and I liked them more.
I mean,
don't know why.
I'm not gonna ever say this in a kind of like I'm offended kind of way because like with most of us, this was all kind of like first initial drafts that we did, and stuff like that. So I actually kind of looking at it and go like, yeah, there is definitely, and that's what we were talking about last week. There's still a lot of lines and stuff that we can improve in this stuff. So it is still good to hear that we got like a bit of kind of like validation on some of the stuff, but we will actually reveal what we re-ranked as our 3-2-1. We only did a 3-2-1 because we weren't allowing our own ones to be in there.
Yeah.
So I'll start
Is
off
this
and
written down somewhere? I don't remember.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's in the DM, and I picked Linefall as my number 3. That was one of Dominic's songs.
I guessed
I-
it was while I was reading
yeah.
it. Okay, go on.
Oh.
I picked number 2 as the Inevitability of Water, which again was a Dominic song, and I actually picked this number 1 was Laying in the Summer Sun,
Yeah.
which is Trick's song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been my 6th, I think. I think I sort of grouped a bunch that I liked.
That was a love song I wrote in about 20 minutes.
Nice.
I had Laying in the Summer Sun is number 3. Untitled, the original Untitled is number 2, and Grocery Shopping is number 1.
And the original Untitled, that was me who wrote that, just because that hasn't been put out there. That was the one about the pen at the school book fair.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that was you because you mentioned book fairs a lot.
I had number 3, Anxious Fourth, which was a Domino joint. Untitled as number 2, and Made a Graduation as number 1.
Okay.
So we definitely have all had different tastes in that, which I think has been a very
I appreciate Untitled Ghost Song a lot.
fair enough. I think me and Dominic weren't actually too big on that one, from what I remember.
I wasn't even big on it. I was debating not even sharing it.
Well, no, I told you that. Well, because Untitled Ghost Song is a couple different fragments, and I told you it's one song.
Yeah, I don't
That's
like
right.
that idea though myself. I think I'm gonna keep them separate.
Okay, fair enough.
Untitled Ghost Song Part 1, Untitled Ghost Song Part 2.
Yeah.
Like
Someone
Ghost
needs to-
Town, but
Someone needs to quote the Live at Jittery Joe's intro to Two-Headed Boy Part 2. This is a little
Yeah.
song. It's probably unfinished and will remain unfinished, but you know, it's a companion song, and here we go. Anyway,
That was a fun hour and 40 minutes of recording.
Yeah.
So now we have to talk
Yeah.
about next week.
Which Pete, we're now saying you don't have to join for this part.
Yeah.
oh, okay. I would like to say that this was incredibly fun, and I didn't realize an hour and 40 minutes passed, which is a good
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
You can still hold on for a bit. You got to plug your shit later. We're just gonna go to
Yeah.
say our stuff.
Go check
Yeah,
out Minimme
please
on
do.
YouTube, Minimme. I would like to say that I'd like to come back on. I'm not often free on Sundays, but when I am, would it be cool if I shot you guys a message and
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
organize something?
Episode the hundredths now will have occasional guest Peter Minimme. Love it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be fun, and I really want to talk about Rogue Warrior. So
All right.
let's do
But
that.
Does the soundtrack
I'm
actually
gonna have.
exist?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out. I want Pete to stay for the to see what his reaction for the album I'm picking next week is like.
Okay.
Okay, I'll stay for a moment then.
I was gonna say stay to the fucking end of the recording, boy. That's how it works.
We're
I
almost
just
done.
meant by don't join as like you don't have to say what you're choosing next week because you're not.
Oh, I totally misread what. Okay, go on. I'll stick around until the end.
My boy, my boy.
Yeah.
What 100 Gecs does to you.
This scrambled my brain when I went for a walk, man. I haven't been the same since.
This is the
100
worst.
Gecs ruin mini.
So I'm gonna pick what I'm doing first because I guarantee Dominic and Trix haven't actually probably heard this album actually because I don't think it had any traction outside of Australia. But I was with my brother this morning and we're talking about some classic albums and stuff. And this is one that I haven't covered, but I think Australian music history should show a true light to this. Is probably one of the most inventive changes of sound that ever happened. From the first album to the second, and I mean sales-wise and just popularity has kind of started to show that, and I guess we'll just kind of discuss it as we do it. I'm doing Regurgitator's Unit.
Ooh, I like this. Yeah, good decision. Keen to see what the reactions are.
All right.
Just to give a spoiler, there was a song about a sex doll on there.
Okay,
Alright.
Regurgitator is the
And
band.
now Trix is into it.
Regurgitator
I like
unit.
just songs about weird shit, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, there's a lot of weird shit that they talk about on there, like just topic-wise.
Hold on, I just gotta.
The band is Regurgitator. The album is Unit.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what episode 101 of my pick would be, and went through a few different selections. Now I have an important question. Tricks, listening?
Yes.
Have you listened
Yes,
to Harvey
I'm
Milk yet?
No.
Good. We're gonna be doing the debut album by Harvey Milk. My Love Is Higher Than Your Assessment of What My Love Could Be.
All right.
This is a doom sludge metal album from the early 90s.
Fuck yeah.
Just to repeat it, 'cause
Damn.
it's a long title. My Love Is Higher Than Your Assessment
Yeah.
of What My Love Could Be.
Hour and 6 minutes.
We're in for a
Alright.
ride. This is gonna be really
Yeah.
interesting.
So,
No, checks. I was prepared for this moment.
yeah. Do you want to hear the album that I was going to pick if you didn't piss me off?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna do "Outrageous Now" by Death from Above, 1979.
Fuck. I love that album.
What a reaction.
Great fucking album.
Did you just
but
punch the table?
I punched it, man. That's a great fucking album.
But instead,
punching
we're going to
fun.
be doing a YouTube exclusive because the artist we do takes down his music every year. We're going to be doing the album "West of Calgary" by Shaky Graves.
Oh god, it's a YouTube exclusive.
Yeah,
We could have done
we've
Death from
got
Above,
everything
man.
that's on streaming. So,
Freeze Me is such a fucking good song. Holy fuck.
and but specifically, I wanted to do this because I wanted to talk about how I think Shaky Graves is better as a live act, and you don't get the full like effect if you're not listening to like a live show.
Hey, Pete, you remember that meme that spread on your Discord of you driving and everybody edited it?
Yeah.
This album art has the same fucking vibe.
Same energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wake up, dear. It's time to listen to Shaky Graves again.
Yep.
Love it.
I'm going to
We
completely
could have
run out
had
of
Death
energy.
from Above 1979.
You better still pick that at some point.
I will. I like Death from Above 1979.
That's also another Tony Hawk's artist.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, American Wasteland though.
yeah.
Mm.
The best one.
Oh, that's very wrong.
It was the one I played the most as a kid. Okay.
Okay, I think-
Fair enough.
Hold on. I've got a good argument. Now, bigger equals better usually, right? Like we can say that a good of the case, like when you get more of something, it's usually better than a small amount, because some people will always argue just like less. And what is bigger? Well, bigger numbers are bigger. So like 4 is bigger than 3, and like 3 is bigger than 2. So therefore, better is the bigger number. So the best Tony Hawk's game is Pro Skater 5.
Oh Jesus fucking
Agreed.
Christ.
And the best band of all time is Death from Above 1979, unless you can think of a bigger number.
Shit.
I don't know. Paul put out an album called Disco, with a song called Disco 2000.
That's
Ooh,
not the band
That must
name.
be a pretty good song.
There's got to be a band with 2000 in the title that I can't think of right now.
Yeah.
Power Man 5000.
Ah, fuck! I can't beat that one.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's the biggest number.
I can't
Oh,
think of a
man.
bigger one.
Fuck, what's that? What's that Mr. Show sketch? There's like 23 is the biggest number or something like that.
If I was to come back on the album that I would pick next time, I think, and I did think about this, is An Invitation to Tragedy by Bigwig. So get familiar with it now so we can go real in depth.
Shit, all right.
Yeah, we will make
Cool.
plans for you to come back. Unless that's next
I
week.
love that.
I'm gonna intentionally just pick an album I know that Pete hates the next time. You got your love of Kirin now.
Yeah.
I have 2 sides. I can be your devil or your angel.
We've gone through like 2 out of the 5 artists I like.
Okay, 2 out of 5. All right. Health
Yeah.
and Kirin J. Callinan, I'm guessing.
100 Gecs actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that next week is coming sooner than we thought. You know,
Yeah.
100 Gecs is actually like smoking. You don't know why you do it, but you keep coming back.
God.
Yeah, I
why
got
am I
that
getting
vibe.
called out right
In
now?
fact, actually, we're just gonna do Ben Lee's "Cigarettes Will Kill You" for the next time.
Where you
No,
come back
not
next
the
time?
album.
I'm just gonna
song.
choose Tree of Clues to make it consistent.
I'm telling you right now, the Fall Out Boy cover on that is a fucking banger.
We
Full
have
stop.
time covering Fall Out Boy unless we cover Fall Out Boy before then.
Yeah.
I have no other intentions of listening to Fall Out Boy outside of that.
I might. Who knows? I have a million albums to choose from.
Oh, I don't think you can choose it next week because or like as the stuff, because I believe the week after next is 2022, isn't it?
Yeah, so episode 102 will be a 2022 new releases
Yeah.
episode. So get ready for that too.
Until then though, and probably until everyone, I have been Ritalin. You can catch me on my website, ritalinforkids.github.io. I don't know why you would try and catch me there. I don't think I actually had that much contact information, but you can also catch me on my YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description below, where I sometimes post stuff. I don't really have anything else to advertise.
All right, I've been
What have
Dominic.
you picked?
You can catch me online on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I have a YouTube channel that's just my name, Dominic Chikoki, and there's nothing really on it except a short film called Beat, which I like quite a bit that I made. I'm doing some writing stuff. I'm in the new Lost in Cult Volume 3. I have a piece about Shinya Nishigaki, the game director of Ill Bleed and Blue Stinger. So if you can find a copy of that somehow, please read it. I also have another article coming out soon. Also, because we didn't really say it, just to repeat what we were actually picking next week. Harvey Milk's My Love is Higher Than Your Assessment of What My Love Could Be, Regurgitator's Unit, and Shaky Grapes' West of Calvary. West of Calgary. Gecs.
Thank you for having me on. My name's Peter. My name's Minimme. All that stuff. You can find me on youtube.com/Minimme, MINIMME, which is very annoying to tell people, where I review old obscure video games. I just did a video on a game called Deadly Dozen, which you haven't heard of. And I'm about to do a video on a game called The Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay, which is one of my favorite games ever. So go check that out. And thank you again, everyone, for having me on.
I have been Trix. You can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. It's like procrastinating astronaut and then an underscore at the end of it. I also have a tweet that was featured in one of Pete's thumbnails like 4 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, the 30 minutes into graphically impressive games and chill, and he gives you this look.
I mean, if we're gonna brag about things we've done with Mini-Me, I did direct the Pierce Brosnan edit for Game Boy for James Bond 07 on Game Boy.
Hell yeah!
Remember, Didn't See Planes is in his Disney Planes video.
It is
true.
Yeah, that's still the worst thing I've ever fucking done.
This podcast is weirdly tied to you, Pete. How do you feel about that?
I feel great about it.
I think there's been worse things that people have said, Pete.
Yeah, you get tied to worse things when you have an audience. So as far as things that I'm tied to goes, this is brilliant.
Rather just a low budget podcast done over Discord, you know.
Yeah.
Is this a fan project? I don't even know anymore.
We're the raccoon love of Minimme.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Pete just said yes and just no context to that whatsoever. Yeah, you know, man.
Clueless, just no idea what you're talking about. But yeah,
I think you listened to Petite League. Yes, I think you did at some point.
I did.
I'm pretty sure I forced Petite League on one of the road trips.
In the car. Yeah.
They have a fan in Nashville who put a band together, and so it's like we're the version of that.
Yeah.
No.
Except whilst Raccoon Love was copying Petite League, we did our own thing from the start.
Yeah.
And now we started talking about games, so we've gone a reverse way. We're like the Benjamin Button of the Raccoon Love.
We did Sonic Adventure 2 early on.
Oh, that's right. That was a classic one. So Pete, you can't pick Sonic Adventure 2. We've already
Damn
done
it.
And we also, I think, we carry it through the chill. Oh,
yeah.
Let me interrupt Trix one more time.
Just finish it, and I'll belt it out later.
We embody the chill that Pete has on his videos.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad.
And I was just gonna say about our Sonic Adventure 2 episode, I have never gotten motion sickness before that episode.
At least no one played the game this time while doing the episode.
Oh yeah.
that was the classic though.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
that's gonna do
good
it for
episode.
us. Thank you for coming on,
man.
Pete.
No worries.
So
Thank
much,
you.
man.
All good.
Have a good night, everybody. Good day, good afternoon, whatever time this is. Bye.
Goodbye.
And just watch marathons. And he said that the only movie that he's ever actually walked out on and demanded his money back was Highlander 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Highlander 2 sucked so much ass.
Yeah, he has seen a lot of movies and a lot of bad ones and a lot of cold. Like he's seen He's seen like stuff like Phantom of the Paradise and Callinan and stuff, which would have been not so critically received.
Oh,
Hello, Pete.
Oh,
how's it going?
everyone's
It's
so
going
loud.
well. Look,
There we go.
Am I too loud?
you're
I'm-
fine on my side. It's
No, it's
Dominic's
me.
side.
I'm adjusting my mic the wrong way.
Okay, yeah.
I love built-in audio control, everything.
In fact, I'm actually going to turn you up a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I gotta balance everybody on my end.
What have you got to do?
Tricks, you were low.
Balance.
You were low, then you were high, then you were low again.
Yeah, 'cause I'm
Yeah.
not really speaking at a consistent volume. Sorry.
Speak consistently.
We need a consistency.
Okay, I'm speaking consistently.
I'm gonna
Pete,
turn
which
you
one do
up.
you?